friends, I'm Neva and welcome to my brand new Booktube channel. For my first video, I am actually going to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. So I am just going to do this one that I found like online, has like 11 questions, but I am just going to do 10 of those questions. I feel pretty awkward, but apparently that's the process. So here we go. The first question is, why did you start this channel? So I actually started this channel through encouragement from two of my Booktube friends, Lexi and Michelle, and I'm going to link their channels down in the description. But I was reading on sprints with them and we were chatting, like I was commenting and they were talking back to me, and I was like, you guys maybe really want to make a YouTube, like a Booktube channel, and they were like, you should just do it. So I did it. That's the whole story. That's it. So thank you to Michelle and Lexi. Again, I will link their channels down below. They're awesome. Go follow them. The second question, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? So I do not read physical books at all. I'm 100% a digital reader. I read on my Kindle and I also read on my iPad. So most printed books I just read on my Kindle, but my manga and graphic novels that have nice pictures in them, I read on my iPad. I originally always read on my iPad, but I found that reading for long periods of time on my iPad gave me headaches. So I bought a Kindle in 2020, I believe. After not having one for years and years. I originally had a Kindle Fire in like 2010, but I went ahead in 2020 and I bought a Kindle Paperwhite, not the newest one that's out now, but whichever one was out then, and they'd had the same one for a long time. And then I also got my dad to buy one, and then in 2021 I upgraded to the newest Paperwhite Signature Edition. So I haven't found a lot of dedicated digital readers. I find a lot of YouTuber or Booktubers that read mixed media. So they will they will listen to audiobooks and read on their Kindle, but also read physical books. And I only utilize things like Audible and Libby for audiobooks, and then my Kindle and also Libby for digital ebooks. Number 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I mean, other than talking about books, because I feel like a lot of people in my life get bored listening to me talk about them. I am probably most excited for making new friends. I don't have a ton of friends or people around me that read the books that I read. So it's harder for me to talk to people about thrillers and manga because I don't know a lot of people that read those things. So being able to build a community of friends that also read the books that I read is always fun. And I find people that read a lot of romance books, and I read a lot of like adult romance, so I guess what you would call like smut, but I don't read a lot of fluffy romance, and so it's harder for me to talk to people about books in my immediate group of people that I know. So community is the short answer. Why do you love reading? I love reading because it gives me a way to escape, but also, depending on what I'm reading, it allows me to continue to learn. I read mostly fiction books, but I do read some nonfiction, and when I read nonfiction, it is quite literally to just be learning about the world around me. So I like fiction for the escape, but I like nonfiction for the learning. What book or series got you into reading? This is going to be not popular, but the series that really got me into reading was probably Harry Potter. So the first book came out in 1997, I think. So I was like 6 years old when the first Harry Potter book came out. And I remember my mom actually reading the first 3 Harry Potter books to me. And then I read the rest of the books on my own. Because I was old enough then. But I think Harry Potter, because I didn't discover Babysitter's Club until after Harry Potter, like probably closer to middle school. So yeah, Harry Potter would have been what got me into reading. I've been reading a lot of my life, so around the camera. All right, question 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I would probably ask what their favorite book of all time is. That's what I would ask. Because I feel like most of the questions that I would ask pertain to actually making booktube content. And I've asked a lot of those questions. Like, I've asked some of my booktube, who I consider my booktube friends, like how you get comfortable in front of the camera, things like that. And they were like, just do it. So yeah, I would just ask what your favorite book of all time is. So if you want to answer that question, go ahead and comment it below, because I would love to know. And I guess because I'm asking, I'll tell you what my favorite book of all time is. My favorite standalone book is Little Girls in Blue. So that's my favorite standalone book. Question 8. When did you start reading? So I started reading around kindergarten, when I could like actually physically read, like actually read words. But there are definitely pictures from my childhood of me reading books to people, picture books. I'm sure I was just making up the stories, but I've basically been reading as long as I can remember. So, chapter 9, where do you read? Since I read on my Kindle or my iPad, or my phone, I guess, for audiobooks, I read pretty much anywhere. I will read in the car if I'm being driven somewhere. I will read at my house, in bed. I will read at work, on break. So I will read basically anywhere. So there's nowhere that's off limits. And then the last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? So I mostly like thrillers and horror books. But I will also read, like I said, adult romance, not fluffy romance. I do want there to be some spice, some smut to them, but I will read those. But my preferred genre is like young adult fantasy, so things like ACOTAR or Throne of Glass, and thriller / horror. I'm thinking like the Hannibal Lecter books, things like that. So those are kind of the genres that I tend to gravitate towards. And okay, so that is all the questions, at least off of this, when I Googled it, because I just Googled Booktube Newbie Tag questions. And thank you for watching this. I kind of feel like it was a hot mess. But I hope that you will come back and read with me and talk to me about books. I plan on doing book vlogs and book reviews and things like that on this channel, along with reading sprints by myself with friends, all of that. So I do hope you guys will subscribe and continue to watch and read with me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, night, weekend, whenever you are watching this. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye, guys.